And just checking my microphone is on as well. Great. So today we have with us Saif Al Yasi, and you have a Bachelor of Science in Biology, in Biotechnology, an MBA, a Master in Bodybuilding with the International Foundation of Bodybuilding. And you, most importantly, are also a husband and father. I found out when I was writing to you first that you spend a lot of time in Dubai. That's where you're based. And you spend a lot of time in the Seven Gym. I'm very sorry I couldn't make it personally being here in Australia. You developed the BeHuman Academy. You support a worldwide, I would say, community with mentorship and leading. There's something really exciting coming up as well that you just told me a bit about. So you are launching a masterclass, which is going to be released, hopefully, fingers crossed, next week. So beautiful.
Absolutely, yes. Yes.
Thanks so much for coming on this episode today.
Thank you very much for having me. It's a pleasure. I really enjoy these random invites from people that turns out to be really exciting. And it depends on the questions that people ask, where I start talking about myself in different angles that people, based on the person, touches in different places. So I'm really excited for this one. Thank you.
So I found even in our communication in the beginning that you have a lot of humbleness and a lot of calmness around you. Have you always been that way?
I've always been that way, yes, because I think it's the way that I have been raised, and the different places that I have lived in allowed me to be in touch with different characters, different levels of people, high levels, low level. So I accept people from whatever beliefs they come from, also due to the locations that I have been multiple times relocated in my life since I've been a child. It allowed me to be in touch with many nationalities, many cultures, many beliefs, many levels, as I said. So yes, I think this is the reason why you can find my emotional intelligence, let's call it, more developed than anything else.
Would you say that's to do with adaptability, having to have to move so many times and find yourself in new situations again and again?
One factor, yes, this is definitely one of the reasons, but also it's because you will find many people who have had the same relocations and the same exposure to different nationalities and beliefs, and as I said, but they never changed. I don't know what is it exactly, but I do accept other people's opinions. So I'm quiet. I'm a good listener, first of all. Mm-hmm. So I tend to listen and understand and then talk. I give time for the person, and I put myself always in the other person's shoes. So I see what they see and question why they are thinking in this way. If it's opposing to me, there must be something that I'm not seeing. So let me go to their level and from their side and see what they are thinking about and how they think about it, why they are saying this, why they believe in that. And I try to take the positives out of it and then adapt it to my own belief, and I start filtering and changing myself based on that. So I have been exposed many times, multiple times, to different people, which I call every single one that passed in my path, good or bad, was a piece of a puzzle for my bigger picture and my bigger path.
So you were born in Iraq, is that correct?
Yes, I was born in Iraq, in Baghdad, and then straight away my father had a scholarship to go finish his fellowship or PhD in medical school in London, in the UK. So that's where we traveled straight away. I don't remember this, but I remember growing up in the UK, and we spent a lot of time. So my childhood was in the UK, and I still remember that. My very first language that I started talking, I was talking English. And I remember me and my sister, we were speaking English at home, and my father was angry. He was trying to force us to speak also Arabic at home. But Arabic is quite difficult, and you don't have the opportunity to speak Arabic when you're abroad. So yeah, we moved there, and by the age of 10, we moved back to Iraq. And we kind of got stuck there because straight away, like after a couple of months, the invasion of Kuwait happened and the first Gulf War started. And since then, 15 years, I stayed in Iraq, and I had to be forced to leave Iraq to come to the UAE in 2005.
How did you find yourself coming to Dubai?
I had to move myself because at that time I was a fresh graduate and I was working in a company, medical equipment company. because there was no government at that time, we had to work with the US Army. So they were in charge of the country. So for us, we were dealing with the US Army. But some of the people who were opposing the invasion of Iraq by the Americans, they thought that we were betrayers or spies, while we were just normal employees in a company, medical equipment company, trying to find our job to sell equipment like any salesperson would do in any occupation. So we were targeted, and we got attacked for many times, and most of the salespeople are on the run on the road, where it was very difficult timing, but we had to make a living. And now that I look at it, it was kind of a very funny and adventurous time, because it's like the movies that we grew up watching, and the cowboys like running around. But it was not fun, but it was the only way to survive and live our days. So at that time, we had to make a living out of it. So until it started coming closer to my family, we had an incident which was a bit touchy. We had a kidnap. One of my sisters got kidnapped. And so the day that we got her back, the next day was my ticket out of Iraq. That was in 2005.
Well, I'm glad to hear your sister is safe.
No, this was a very long story, and she's married now. She has 2 lovely kids. Yeah, all good.
Very good to hear. Has that shifted anything in how you deal with fear?
I believe these incidents in life that I have seen had strengthened me more than I was if I was living just in Dubai right now. Like looking at the men who are growing up during the time that I was there in the same age, I think they're more softer. But we cannot change what happens to us. So we have to embrace and adapt. There was a reason why we had to be going through this and accept it. So instead of sitting and crying and blaming life, like why me, it's a different mentality. It takes a different mentality on how to accept circumstances that happen in your life and behave and adapt. Most of us, we were adapting, we were living, we were smiling, we were joking, we were happy, we were living normal lives. Me and my friends, I remember, till today, I remember the best days of my life is when we were gathering in one place, having fun at night, because we couldn't make it back to our own houses because the streets were cut because there was a bombing in our area or something. So it was kind of fun, and fun at the same time because we accepted to make it fun. It's not like we sit down and cry. So these are moments that we remember, we talk about, we tell stories. When we talk to each other sometimes, we remind ourselves about these days, and we wish we were back to these days, because we're all separated right now. Like me and my best friends during these times. Everyone is in a different country right now. None of them are in Iraq. These incidents make us stronger. Yes, it made us stronger.
It would have been also a very bonding experience with your family. Are you very close with your parents?
I'm very much close with my parents, yes. Like any normal Iraqi person, I think one of the main features of the Iraqi community, Iraqi society, is that it's a very much family-oriented. Family gatherings is one of our cultural things that it has to happen. So, for example, next week in my house, I'm accommodating around 15 people. So my parents are coming, my sisters all are coming with their kids. I have a sister and her husband and her kids who are in the US. My parents haven't seen them for the last 8 years. So this is the time where they're coming over from the US to meet my parents from Iraq. They're all meeting up here in Dubai in my house. We are very much of a family gathering kind of society. And this is how we grew up living. So for us, family is very, very important, and we stay close to each other. Our bonds are very much stronger with family.
Nowadays, it's very interesting to find how many people are somewhat in a conflict with their family. And I think it also speaks a little bit about where our society is going, especially since internet has become so popular and we have social media. I mean, here we are. I'm in Australia, you're in Dubai, and we're having a podcast. And I think everything has become so close. And so the matters and the the problems of our society are also becoming more homogeneous. And I picked that up the other day on one of the podcasts that you did with a man called Bilal. I found it very interesting. He, I assume, doesn't have the closest relationship with his family because he was so convinced about his choices of not wanting to have his own kids and not wanting to start a family. You mentioned reaching 100% of success in life means you start your own family. You just had this beautiful expression of the family gathering that you have coming together, and now your family, your parents get to experience their children for a family gathering and their children. And that is the most beautiful joy you can create, in my mind.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's very interesting how that drifts apart in our society currently. Why do you think that is?
I've grown up with my parents. They are very much close to each other. So they were an example for me about how a family should be. So since this is a very common thing in our culture in Iraq, people there are more close to their families. Families are attached to each other very closely. So every man that grows up as a young man, his first dream is to make a living and get married and build a family, because this is success for us. This is how we see success. You graduate, getting a good degree, getting employed, and then think about building a family. Life has changed since then, but the way that I see life today is more being pushed away from this family, being individual by yourself, building yourself, which is good. I think it's better now, looking back at myself at that time and comparing it with today's life. I would rather live my life independent, growing, learning, away from my traditional attachments, allowing myself to experience something new away from the tradition, but yet having myself grounded to the family and grounded to my parents. You can grow. I look at it from different angles. This is why I invited Bilal, because it was an experience that was surprising for me, and it's against my own beliefs, but I wanted to put myself in his place. Why is he thinking like that? Why a man who is not from my culture, but he does not want to have kids? And I do understand why they are going like that. It could be several failures that he had seen in his life with his ex-girlfriends, maybe, or with his experiences, or how many people that he's exposed to from his close relatives, friends, or people that he may know that failed in the relationships. Nowadays, it's very common in our culture, even from where I come from, things have changed, that divorce rates have been increased because of the exposure of globalization or internet. Because at that time when I was in Iraq and when I left Iraq, there was no internet yet, no mobiles. So we were not connected to the outside world. We were more isolated in our own beliefs. But the more we are opened today, it's a double-edged sword. So you will have the benefits of being open and exposed to knowledge, experiences, and at the same time you get what the whole world out of negativity brings up to your society and how it changes. So divorce rates started increasing because women have been exposed to different beliefs, men have been exposed to different beliefs and how they should be. So there was a miscommunication between the traditions that we have and the world that we want to live in, the open world that we want to live in. So until they find adaptation, and until they find that, no, we need to be grounded, we need to go back to our roots, but yet we can be exposed to the outside world. You have to have stronger roots to your culture and never let them go. These are very important traits that growing up from wherever you come from. Family is very, very important, and they are your backbone. They are your support with all what they have to feed you if they're still alive, and never forget where you come from. But you can be who you want to be in the future. I don't know about Bilal or many other examples that are like Bilal. It could be from the misjudgment of the examples or the experiences that he had witnessed. But I wanted to show him that there are other examples, like there are successful examples who made it, who failed also, like myself. I failed in my first relationship, and this failure is a good example for many men that it's fine to fail and understand why you failed. This failure or this experience happened to me. It was a very painful failure for me at that time, but I have learned a big lesson from it, and this lesson is making my new path in life, where I'm trying to help men like myself in the past, where they were lost, I was lost, and how they should be reborn as men to help fix society, help fix and guide women. I wanted to show him that there is hope. There's always failures in life, but we fail because we need to be better in life. So for him, I saw he's a good material of a father, a good material of a husband. He's a very nice person. He's kind, he's positive, he smiles, he says hello to everyone. He's very expressive. This was like something, it was like a trauma in his past or in his childhood that makes him hold back and fear this marriage life and having kids.
When you said a man has to awaken, a man has to have an awakening experience, what was that like for you?
Again, one of the bad things that I grew up learning, not from my parents, this is grounding, but from the surroundings of the society at that time, is that a man has to give orders for the woman to obey. My parents were the opposite, and that's why I have been reborn again, or I matured more, because I looked at my father as an example, and I was like, I had an example right in front of me, and how my father was treating my mother. He was not what other people outside my house or my family were doing. So men outside were teaching me like, no, you're a man, you have to tell, it's either your way or the highway. You go out with your guys, and who cares about what the woman needs to say? If your wife calls you, everyone starts laughing. Men make fun, friends make fun about wives, and a wife is like a second thing in your life. It's not a priority. We don't look at her as someone that as important as you are or your friends are. So we give priority to the friends, we give priority to the guys outside, and accept what they have to say and influence us. And if a guy loves his wife, it's a shame, and we make fun of him. This is something that I kind of realized. This is something that you cannot change in men. It happens all the time, and especially in young men. That's why when you want a good husband and a true husband who loves and takes care of his wife, first of all, and his kids as a father, and build a house, you find him having very little small circle of friends around him, if any. And then I started realizing when I matured between the two marriages, in the gap of 2 years, then after that I met my current wife, and how I felt like I'm almost, okay, I'm changing the totally different nationality, totally different background, totally different beliefs. Like it's an extreme. I went to the extreme, let's say. And I felt like there was something similar in the relationship. Why is this happening? Why is this repeating itself? Why history is repeating itself with a different woman? So I stepped aside, and I was thinking, like, in one of the arguments that I had with my current wife at the time, is it me really? Because both, they used to say like, it's always you, it's you never change, you do this. So I started listening at that time to what both used to say to me, and I was like, okay, let me accept it and let me change. When I changed, I started seeing differences here in the behavior, something that makes this woman in front of me more acceptable. And the other thing is also, I came across someone say, or something that taught me that a woman is like a little daughter at some times. So I had a daughter at that time from my ex-marriage, and I remember when she used to cry, I wouldn't go and argue with her. I'd go pick her, hug her, and then accept what she says, even if she's cursing me. At that time, she was not saying proper words, but I know that if it was words like, I hate you, I don't like you, it's exactly what a woman would say in an argument when she's emotional. And I started applying at these moments. I'm not saying that women are younger daughters for a man. I'm not saying that a man or a husband has to be a father all the time. But at moments, yes, a woman would need a father, or would need this love like you treat your daughter at moments. So I applied these changes. And then I started, the moment I accepted that it's me, I started seeing things in a different way. I started believing that I have to change. So if I accepted that it's me, I started looking at the solutions and why the problems are happening and how to address them. But knowing it's me, it's not the person in front of me. And this is how we created more bonds. And I started seeing like, okay, if there's a flame of fire coming from her, I can either feed her with wood to make this go more, or I just can hug this fire and turn it off and then create this beautiful bond between us. And this is how I developed and I would say evolved as a man in a different way. But when you look at it from a point of view of Saif before, for example, I would not accept this version because I didn't know the results. Now, happy wife, happy life is a true factor in a man's life, but not a boy, because you don't experience this and you don't understand that your life is not with your friends, your life is not with your parents, your life is with your wife. So if your life is with your wife, the happiness of your wife reflects on you. And we men, we believe in our religion, in our culture, in our tradition, we are leaders. But the way that we have been taught, or the men in our culture and many cultures believe that the men are leaders by shouting at the woman or downgrading the woman or putting her down, and then you become a man and you're allowed to do whatever you want to do. You can go out and do whatever you want to do, and your woman has to stay at home with you, cooking for you, cleaning for you, taking care of the kids, and that's it. No, I believe a man is a leader, and in the relationship, yes, because he's the provider, he's the protector, he is also the father at sometimes. He's the person who knows how to play around with his emotions when your woman is emotional, and handle these emotions. So he understands maturity, masculinity, and understands also emotion. So a mixture of both the let's say the masculinity and the femininity in a man is something extremely rewarding for rising up and being more aware as a man on how to handle relationships better. But men who have never experienced this, and I do understand because I was like that, so I do understand why men don't want to accept what I say. As a personal trainer, I also used to be fat. So I understand when a fat person comes to me, I used to be fat, so I know what you're going through. So trust me, because I have been there. It's not in theory, in practice also. I have been there, so I know what you're going through, and I know how to convert you as a woman or a man to the other side. So the struggles that you're going through today, I have been through. So this also applied on the relationship side. It's the same thing. I have been there. I have failed, and I almost failed twice. But until I stopped and I realized, like, no, this is not right. Let me try changing it. And when I changed it, it's so beautiful that you cannot let go, and you accept all the changes that, yeah, I don't care about my friends because my wife is my priority right now. The happiness of my mind, the peace in my mind and my life requires my wife to be happy and my kids to be healthy. The small dosage of pleasure that I used to get outside, running away from home, was not enough. This was my issue in the past. I used to run away from the issue with my ex, going out to have fun with the guys, and then, yes, I have fun and I enjoy, but when I go back home, the issue was not sorted and not solved. So it's like somebody has like a deep wound or injury in himself, and he doesn't fix it, and he tries to apply just a bandage on top. Go and fix the issue first of all. It's painful, yes, but it's going to be painful for some time, painful for our prides as men.
So sometimes it's more painful to hold on to your own ego than just letting that ego be, the perseverance of wanting to hold on to your ego and your selfish needs is in long term taking your joy.
Yeah.
Have you heard
Yeah.
of the 3 dimensions of relationships? It says the first dimension is to be in a relationship and you say, all my needs need to be met. And I find that's something that happens everywhere at the moment, even including, I would say, Bilal at that point for what I know about him, where someone goes out there, they try to
Okay.
find a partner that would tick all the boxes. And so in a relationship with that level, we would then try to meet our own needs through that person. And the second level would then evolve from there, where you have your needs and the other person has their needs. And you're just trying to make it work and things are equal somehow. And then the third level, which I find I hear a lot coming from what you're saying, is when you look at the other person and you realize your needs are my needs. And it's that level of reflection,
Yes.
of understanding. I will go with your needs and I see them. And I know that if we work towards what you need, all my needs will be met as well, because as you say, happy wife, happy life. If you're working with a man who hasn't fully become a man and you describe him as a boy because he has not that emotional maturity or he hasn't fully reached it yet, what do you think a woman dating a boy is missing out on?
Okay. I said this and I wanted to say it in one of my podcasts, but I think it's going to be said in your podcast first. This is going to be very controversial, and you might hate me at the beginning, but bear with me and listen to me to the end, because since you're a woman, I believe that this whole world has been created to be evolved around a man, not a woman. But God created the woman to deliver this man, to make this man in childhood, like in birth, pregnancy, birth, and then raising up to be a teenager, to make him to be that man. It's all the mother. All of this is a woman. So the creation of this man is through the woman. So this is how beautiful the woman is and how powerful and important it is in making this man. So if men are weak, I'm not going to blame the men. I'm going to blame the woman. But every successful man, we say there's a woman behind him, right?
Yeah.
It's half the truth. What I would say, there are 2 women. There is one who breaks him down, who kills his ego and destroys this man. And there is another woman who picks him up from the ashes and makes him the legend that he's supposed to be.
That's beautiful.
I would thank both the women in my life. That one brought me down because of the failure that I have. For a man to fail is like destroying him. So the failure in the marriage, it's not a good thing. I'm not proud that I have been divorced and I am who I am today, and I would be more happy today and like, yeah, look at my past. No, look at me now. I'm much better than I was in the past. No, I would not say that. I look at my past and I would say, like, it was an experience. It was a journey. And I would thank my previous marriage and the failures that I have been through, because it made me who I am today. And it was part of the process of me maturing and awakening. So this failure or this bringing me down was part of my growth. It's as a personal trainer, if I want to link it, and this is science also, when we look at the muscle growth, when we want to grow the muscle, we go to the gym, we break down our muscle fibers, and we go back and rest and eat and sleep to rebuild a stronger muscle. So a man is also the same. So a man has to be broken down. He has to go and experience some tough life. So I would say this is a secret recipe in finding the right man for the women out there who are listening. How to find, because I think women are more mature than men and they mature faster than men. But when a man gets to mature, he's on a higher level, like beyond the maturest woman. But it takes time for the man to mature and build up. So but he needs a woman to reach to that level. So this is a secret recipe on how to find the right man. If a man has been out of a drastic relationship, he was brought down, but you find him, he has the potential to grow. This is the right person. Rebuild that man and grow together. This is exactly what my wife right now did to me, because she picked me from the dirt. I saw myself at that time very weak, because I am a person who came out of a failed marriage with 3 kids and kind of lost in terms of the finances. I barely had enough to survive my own self for the rest of the month, because I was paying whatever I can for the other house. I wanted to live. I wanted to enjoy myself at that time, but the money, the success, and my past was holding me from being so. But yet she was right there in front of me, and I could not resist myself from going and talking to her and approaching her. And she was very much the right potential that I saw in her. But what I was telling myself is like, what is she seeing in me? Why is she accepting me? I mean, she's single, she's beautiful. And there are a lot of men outside that she can go be with. Why would she go with a divorced person who has 3 kids from his past? His work or occupation is not paying him enough. He's not earning enough. So it's not the finances, it's not the background, it's nothing. What did she see in me that made her accept my offer to be together? She rebuilt me and helped me rebuild myself.
Have you ever asked her the question of what made her?
I have. It's very difficult for her to say it, but when I managed to get it out of her, she saw me like a piece of diamond which was covered in dirt, and she just cleaned me and blew on me and like put me on the shelf to shine. I really admire her because a woman who has been with me through my toughest financial moments and mental moments, and me being down in the dirt, really. I can talk for years about this very bad period of my life. But there was a belief in her and in me as well, in myself, where I used to tell her like this. It was just talks, but day after day, month after month, promises from my side that I will make it. I have a dream, I have a passion, I will go. And her just to be there by my side to fulfill my dreams, although there's nothing tangible to see or touch or feel. But life has given us small rewards to prove that there is hope. You just dream and you're going to reach to your goal. So dream big. So every time we achieve together something that we dreamed of, I'm like, okay, life is telling me to dream big. So let's go higher level and then higher and higher. So now, I mean, my dreams is like, the sky is the limit for me. I have no boundaries. I can go to the moon and back with my dreams. And she's always there. She believes in me because we made it together. We have achieved so much goals together. I believe she deserves more. I'm trying to appreciate her being with me at my worst. So I cannot accept when I make it to leave her or go and look and harm her by any way.
During this difficult period when you first got together and she stood by your side, did you put any conversations in place around agreements of perhaps milestones or anything that helped you with the mindset to make it through that period as well? And how did she support you through that?
I definitely had dreams and beliefs and like future plans. And I'm a person who is very optimistic, but being optimistic without having action or a plan is not the right thing. So I saw potential in something and I put a plan for it, and I started investing, although finances were horrible at that time. but it's an investment. And she was there. She's like, okay, yeah, go for it. I know where you're going. I trust your beliefs. Go do it. So she was right there behind me to achieve these small investments and rewards to build a new career, to build a new future, to build a new life. And when we both saw the results, it was both rewarding for us that it is possible. So her belief in me started being more, she started being more supportive. She might have had doubts at the beginning, but she wanted to push to the extreme to see where it's going to be. And from my side also, when I had achieved a goal, a smaller goal, I was like, wow, I can do it. Life is not the end. Let me go bigger. Let me go to the other level. And this created the bonds of connections between us together as one, that we need to support each other and then grow. So yeah, this is how she was there for me.
It sounds like she has a pretty awesome mindset.
Unbelievably, yes. And I think we are the perfect match. I don't know if this is true, that you find there's someone out there who is your perfect match. But yeah, I think we complete each other.
What are areas about your wife that you really cherish as a husband? And what do you think are qualities that also other men should look for in a potential wife or girlfriend or partner?
At the very beginning, in our relationship before getting married, we were just friends. We used to laugh together. There was no strings attached at that time. We used to just go out together, meet in the gym, or after the gym, go for dinner and sit down and laugh and talk about. The conversation with her was, for me, very exciting and very interesting. And for her, the same. I can see her smile. I can feel her laughters, like they're genuine. They're not faked just because she wants to be with a man. You know, at that time, men will realize and understand if this woman is just faking these laughters just to be with him, or it's genuine and true. For her, she didn't want any relationship. And I also, like, I wasn't really sure if I'm ready. Of course, I wasn't ready. So why would I risk it and downgrade myself? So the idea was like, we're just friends and we hang around. But I really enjoyed her company, and it started developing from there. So that's the reason why I say the relationship between a man and a woman should be built on friendships, because we remind ourselves that we are friends, even until today. And when I talk to her, trust me, there are no boundaries at all. Which when I want to tell a guy friend who's married that I tell this to my wife, he'll be like, "Are you for real? Are you serious? Like, I would never dare to tell my wife
Yeah.
this." I'm like, "No, this is normal conversation between me and my wife. If she knows that I'm being very transparent with her and I have nothing to hide from her, why would she behave like in a jealous, extreme jealousy way as a wife, which most of a woman could be with the husband? But is it really the wife who's doing this, or is it the man?" So again, going back to the leadership of a man, I believe that men should be more stepping forward in this beliefs. It takes bravery to open up and tell a woman what men thinks outside the house. I tell every single thing what happens to me. If there was an incident with a girl in the gym, for example, which brings jealousy to the place in the relationship, I would be more than happy to tell her, and we will laugh about it like I'm talking to a guy friend outside the relationship. But these things create stronger boundaries with respect, of course. Respect is very, very important. And what she has in which is something I admire as well, and every man should seek for, and which every woman should pay attention a little bit to, is the small appreciations that I do, for example, and how she says thank you for it. Or it could not be just the word thank you, it could be just a smile on her face. We are smart, we're both smart, and we can realize that, okay, she smiled, I'm a man, she smiled for a certain thing that I have done. I need to do more because I like the smile on her face. And it's in our instincts as men, because we provide, we protect, we want to be the leaders in the house. Having a smile drawn on a face of a woman, our woman, tells us, do more, because this is your success. This is the reward that you've been waiting for all day. When you've been hustling outside and you come back to a smile, the smile is an appreciation for us. You shouldn't be like just a thank you. No, a smile or a small gesture from the woman to show that you are the man, you are the provider. Could be both of you are working, but just fool the man. We are like boys. If you trick us with this smile, you own us. You can control us by that. So going back to what I said, when the world evolves around the man, and then the woman is everything. The woman is the world.
Wow.
Yes, the man has the world evolving around him, but the woman is the world. You evolve around the man. So you make the man, you build the man, and you can destroy a man as well.
Wow,
That's how powerful women are.
that is very beautifully said. Thank you. I feel very proud to be a woman right now. I'm curious, since you have a very strong bond at home, how do you work out the parenting between the two of you?
I'm always outside the house. Today I'm here. It's one day a week that I can have my influence on my son and to do the parenting. But she understands that it's the hustle that I'm going through for the sake of all of us, and this is my part. We had dreams, and we believe in each other. So I go and fight my dreams. She has her own dreams, which I support. So she went and did taekwondo, and last week she managed to get her black belt. So I was one of the supporters from the
Congratulations to
backside.
her. That's
Thank
amazing.
you. So
Fantastic.
we support each other in many ways, but I am the provider for the house in terms of finances, but she's providing more than that. She's providing the love, the growth of my son, the health of my son, and the health of her as well. She's taking care of herself and taking care of me. So it's a mixture of a combined. I cannot say like I'm up here because I'm paying the money. Of course, a woman will rebel and come back and say, "Yeah, you sit home, take care of the son. I will go and bring money also. So don't argue with me that you're higher than me because you're giving money." When a man expresses the gratitude and appreciation to the woman to what she's doing as well, and not coming and saying, you are home, sitting home, and you listen to me because I'm paying the bills, I'm paying the money. No, a woman, of course, will be rebellious. And that's what's happening in today's society. Most of the women are going and trying to be independent and make it through in the world to provide and to prove that we are equal with men. But actually, you're not equal with men. You are way much more better than men if we just look at you as the reason of creation of a man. But ask any woman, really, truly, you're a woman, and I would ask you this: would you really want to work and your job to pay the bills? Or do you want somebody to come and like provide this for you, but you can go and work, but not for the reason of paying the bills and bringing your own food and taking care of your own family? So most of the women would say, yes, of course, I would love a husband to take care of me, and I will take care of him in return.
I would agree. And I think a lot of people nowadays would challenge us on our belief. But especially where I grew up in Germany, it's come really far with women trying to be men almost. They're trying to push themselves so hard. They are forcing things. And they are losing their power, their natural given power.
It all started with the man, because one man probably came and said, I am bringing money, you sit down at home, you are nothing to me. These kind of harsh words affect a woman, and a woman can stand up and say, no, I can make it to prove myself and prove to you that I'm more than that. I'm more worthy as a woman, that I can be compared to a man by bringing and providing and making money and being more successful outside in a masculine world. While a woman is evolved to be more than that. I believe a woman is not successful if she goes and makes her successful career. I don't look at her as a successful woman. Just like what I said when I was talking to Bilal, that the success of a man is outside the world is 50%. You can be the richest person, the most successful influencer in the world, or whoever you want to be. But being single and not having to build a family, you're just playing in their 50% potential. The other potential, if you want to really, truly prove that you are successful, go build a family. And it's not easy. It's not easy, because the difficulties in providing for the family and accepting the emotions of a woman up and down and controlling these emotions and playing with these emotions and being smart to manipulate and control these emotions it's not an easy task. That's why they are afraid to go there, because they cannot handle it. They don't know how to handle it, or they don't want to handle it, because it requires a level of putting the egos outside the house and going inside being a different human being, which nobody should know about. Because if this is going to bother you, okay, why would you be bothered if no one's going to know about what you're doing inside the house with your wife? This is something private. If it's going to bring happiness and joy for both of you, why don't you do it? Leave your ego outside. I don't care what happens inside the house. As long as I'm a warrior outside the house, I'm ready to be a small lamb in the house.
I think it's interesting. Bilal mentioned that a lot, that a man has to be the protector and warrior. But I heard a statement when it says a man can conquer as many other men, but the hardest task he'll ever have is to conquer himself.
Yes, it is a very big step. This is where the awakening happens in the man, to go unfold himself inside and reach out to a huge treasure box. Once he unfolds and unlocks it, he will evolve to be a legend or a wise man that he is meant to be. But it's very difficult to go and conquer himself. Exactly, this is the right way. Yes.
I have one more question for you. Actually, I have two more questions, because I always ask a final question. But I'm curious, in Dubai, where you are and with the work that you're doing, have you got any brotherhoods, men that come together to talk about man topics?
I've been in UAE or in Dubai for almost now 19 years. So definitely I had developed friendships and friends that I knew here, which evolved to be more of a brother kind of relationship. The changes that happened in my past few years, I had to move away from them to focus on my own new life, a new marriage, new relationship, and also my new career and new path. I'm an extremely busy man, very, very busy man. And I leave home very early, before my son and wife wakes up, before anyone wakes up, because I leave home by 5 a.m. And then I only come back at night by 9 p.m. And I want to sleep because I don't have time to rest. So it has limited my connections with my friends, although I would love to stay in touch with them. But I believe they understand. And in the past, when we were there, yes, we used to connect and we used to sit down. There were many topics that I would love to talk about with them. Yeah, in the past few years, it is very, very much limited. Yeah.
Okay, I'm finally coming to the last question that I have for you. What is the most important thing you have learned about love in your life?
The word love is very, very difficult, and it has different meanings in different stages of your life. In childhood, love means paying attention to me and taking care of me like a child. When you grow up as a teenager, it's a cloud feeling of I like something, but true love evolves to be more of the memories that you build together and the good things and the bad things that you go through. And when you sit down after some time and look at your time together, how much of it that you went through and how did you behave and react to it is more the true meaning of love. Love is going through tough moments together and accepting and helping each other with respect, taking care of each other and embracing and being patient about it, and then evolving to live the moments of success together. This is what we do, me and my wife. Sometimes we sit, sometimes, I mean, if she hears me now, she says, "You're never home." If I would imagine love is like me and her sitting, having a cup of tea, and just looking up in the sky and saying, we have made it, although it was very tough. The journey was very tough and very difficult, but we have made it. And yes, we did.
Saif, thank you so much. If people want to find more information about your program and about the BeHuman Academy, where can they find you?
BeHuman Academy account on Instagram, where they can book and be part of the community that we're trying to build from personal development to mindset and growth, and then into relationships. So we can guide you through all these programs that we are going to have. Hopefully next week it will be launched. So stay tuned. It's very soon happening. We have a huge team behind, which is an amazing team, one of the best teams that I've ever worked with. Yeah, my personal account is also available, which we announce on both pages. Yeah, so many exciting things happening in this month. The New Year resolutions for us is reaching out to the skies.
Amazing. Thank you so much for joining this podcast today.
Thank you very much, Laura, for having me. It was one of the best. I really enjoyed it.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Awesome.